Welcome to Season 2 of Rooted and Reaching, a podcast about startups, entrepreneurs, and innovation in the South Bend, Elkhart region of Indiana. I'm Marty Mechtenberg.
And I'm Susan Ford. We're excited to share 16 new stories with you this year. And we're going to get tactical about how entrepreneurs are confronting challenges, building success, and moving our region into the future.
Welcome to another episode of Rooted and Reaching. I'm Susan Ford, and I have the privilege of being here with Ryker and Julian Marquez, and they are the co-founders of rScan. And so I'm excited to hear a little bit about your story today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
This is wonderful. Okay, so I always love to know when you have co-founders, how did you two first meet and decide to start a business together? Or is there a lot of time in between there?
Yeah, so I'll start. It's a little bit of both. So we both went to high school together here in the area at Penn High School, and I believe the first way that we met was actually starting a business.
Yeah, we started this clothing line called Culture Clothing back in like 2011, 12, and at that time I believe I was like 16 or 17, and I met him, and he was about he's younger than me by like a year, so and just seeing him, and he had that entrepreneurial like spirit, that energy. He already knew what a mission statement was. He already knew like the things that we needed just to make an actual business and have an LLC. Because starting off when you're young, you don't really understand that starting a business is more than just being like, okay, I'm gonna just start this business and I'm gonna keep doing it and collect money. It's not like that.
Yep.
You need to start an LLC and all that stuff, and he knew that, and I didn't know that. I just had like the ambition is to go and do it. And then meeting this guy right here, it like took it to that next level. And being that young, it was just like, it was amazing.
That's great. And so first business in high school, and you got connected through an entrepreneurial passion. And then since then, have you had other businesses prior to rScan, or it was culture clothing and now rScan? Anything else in between there?
I think we each kind of did our own thing, but nothing together, at least until I called up Julian in the end of 2019, beginning of 2020.
Got it. You thought, let's do a project during COVID?
Yep, exactly.
That's how you planned it? Very good. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about rScan for a second, and then we're going to go back to the two of you as co-founders. But so what was the basis of the idea for rScan?
Yeah, so I'll start. So, I had previously resold items online. I had done this as a hobby. As it turns out, 1 out of every 3 items sold online is actually returned. And so, that's a huge problem, in Main Street. And with COVID, more people were buying online products more than ever. And so there was a huge influx of returns. And we saw that might be a really good opportunity. I had, like I said, I had done it before. I called up our other co-founder, or soon-to-be co-founder, Rod. And so, me and Rod got together. We saw that this was going to be a great opportunity. Rod's a full-stack software developer. And then I called up this guy, too. We bought our first truckload of liquidated and returned products. We got started at Julian's house, actually, in his pole barn. Mm-hmm. And the rest is history, right?
And so that was 2019. And so how has the journey been since 2019? I think you're doing it full-time, Ryan. Is that right?
Correct.
And you're part-time for right now. And the goal is to have multiple full-time employees working on this?
Yeah. So we already have several. And I would even add 2. I guess Julian's working like 2 full-time jobs.
Okay.
Or, even 3, right? So he... Exactly. So it's, been, from the beginning to here where we are today, we've hired several employees. We now have, we have our other co-founders, Rod, Dimitri, and Mike as well here with the rScan team. We've met them here throughout the South Bend area, as well as down in IU Bloomington.
That's great. So I'd like to get a little more granular for all of our listeners. I think this is about how has the region helped shape your business? How has the region supported your business? Or what more could the region do to help be supportive? So as you think about where you are right now, how have you gotten help from others in the community, whether it be entities, people, or has this really just been on your own?
Yeah.
How it helped, just in the beginning, the support. Just we used to hold a lot of local sales, a lot of the stuff that we needed to get out just to turn some money, because sometimes selling online especially getting started, there's a slow burn to it. So the community helped when we would put out the stuff outside, and it would give us that extra just the extra money just to pay the rent, just to keep us in motion.
That's great.
And that's just the community just coming out and just checking us out.
Just a quick pause on that, and we'll go back because it looks like you have something, Ryan. But I think one of the things that I hope, both for people who are here now and others who are thinking about coming to the region, is the idea of the region as the first customers, right? There are so many people, because getting those first customers is what really matters. And then, so there's the infrastructure support, there are small business loans, there are counselors, there are the broader ecosystem, there are events, ways to create collisions and connections, but also just those first customers, that matters. And that's what I hear in that story, that the people in the community showed up and helped with the revenue when it maybe wasn't coming from where you anticipated online.
And they also give us the best stories too. Like, we have a couple that just comes by and they love to crack jokes with us. So it's like really nice to get involved with them. And then once we do it, like, every bi-weekly, and we build a relationship with them. And, sometimes we'll miss a week and they're like, hey, where you guys at? Like, hey, we need the deals, or like, hey, we'll be back next week. And, it feels really good that they're looking forward to checking out our stuff that we have out there for them.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. What were you going to say, Ryan?
Yeah, I was just going to elaborate on what Julian was saying. It's, really cool and, powerful to be able to help, everyone else also, start and run their own businesses. We also do, the wholesale as well, to these other e-commerce entrepreneurs. That's actually what has led to rScan as well. We developed this software that helps people resell online. We've tested it here at our facility. It's, basically in our resale lab. So, we test out the features. We make sure that, it's going to work right for our customers. And then we have them tested as well. And like Julian was saying, we got people coming in every week, and, it's really powerful to be able to see them grow as well.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I do think that is what you are coming. I think of you as wearing your entrepreneur hats on as we're having this conversation, which is great. Literally, you have your hat on. And I wear a couple different hats in my day-to-day work, but I feel like in this conversation, I'm wearing the hat of how do we make sure that the ecosystem is great for all of our entrepreneurs so that they can be the best versions of themselves and their companies. And so when you think about supporting these other people who are now building businesses based on your software, that's like the ultimate 2-for-1 is kind of how I think about it. Yeah. So could you tell us some of those stories just so we can get a sense of the types of businesses people are growing?
Yeah. Oh,
you
sorry.
Can I tell them about Ephraim?
Oh, please.
Yeah. So, we started up getting the software where it's fully developed and everything. So, my friend Ephraim, I got him on board about a year ago. And before that, like 6 months ago, he came, walked through, checked it out, and was like, it's okay. But then when we developed everything, got so much better at what we're doing, he came in, he's like, yeah, sign me up. And now how much is he up now?
Yeah, he's one of our best customers. Yeah. And, he's also now selling on Amazon and eBay. We've helped to facilitate that whole process. And now he's looking at scaling up his own business, right?
That's amazing. So you're growing your revenue, he's growing his revenue, and he has a business as a function of rScan. And prior to that, he might not have known another way to go about that.
Mm-mm. And he just thanked me about a week ago, because the RV industry goes up and down, mm-hmm. and right now it's kind of on a down. And he said if it wasn't for rScan, he's like, I wouldn't have the money to be able to pay my bills and have his family just living where they live. So he's very grateful for it, and it's keeping him up too.
I just kind of want to pause. That's an incredibly powerful statement to say that out loud. That's incredibly powerful. And that's what business ownership is. I know offline we chatted a little bit about kind of glass ceilings and what that can look like. And through entrepreneurship, you can completely shatter that. Mm-hmm. Could you talk a little bit about what that means for the two of you? Being able to shatter, being business owners and the significance of that?
Yeah. To me, I've been working in industries that have that glass ceiling, and you see people work their life towards reaching that glass ceiling, and they never hit it, and they see other people get up, and it's very cutthroat once you get to the bigger picture of it in those certain industries. And with us, I feel like we should be able to, whether you want to work for us, we're gonna try to keep increasing pay and we're going to try to open up new locations. So if you don't want to be in South Bend, don't worry, we're planning on going to like other states. If you want to be an entrepreneur, sell online yourself like us, we have the blueprints on helping you create your own retail lab. We want to break those glass ceilings. And there's not like a lot of those opportunities out here for the person that doesn't have those opportunities. With this, is literally your cell phone and just some cash, just start off cash, and we have all the tools, the knowledge, and the resources to help you achieve it. And that's our main goal.
That's amazing.
And the process, it's basically like a business in a box now, right? So all you need to do is apply yourself, and from A to Z, we'll walk you through the whole process.
That's wonderful. I'm smiling because one of the things that we've done in some of the other conversations that we've had, someone said, it's $98 to start an LLC and then you start a business. And you talk about kind of back in high school, not necessarily knowing that, but when you can see how easy it can be, and I know that's a joke to say easy, but like there's an easy switch and then the hard part comes. Yeah. But I, again, want to make sure that people who are listening and people who are talking to you and hearing the story know that like it's possible. It's very possible. I think so many people think it is out of reach, and it's not. It's hard work, and it's dedication and being consistent, being on top of it even when you don't want to, just coming through every day. And then also I was blessed to have really good partners in it, so if one of us has problems, we're like, we got you, we'll go for it. I love it. Okay, so I have lots of other trains of thought going, but you mentioned partner, so I want to talk about that for a second. So I think, personal opinion, that the most important quality in leadership is self-awareness, to know who you are and how you show up. And so as you guys have grown as founders in this business, what have you learned about yourselves and what have you learned about each other? Ryan, do you want to start?
Yeah, I would say for me personally, time management, definite need for improvement. It might be just because I'm so busy, but just trying to, get everything you have planned for the week scheduled. You only have, there's 7 days in a week, 5 of those are weekdays. And sometimes that's a lot to have to bottle up. Yep. Okay. And what have you learned about Julian? I would say some days I'm amazed, this guy works harder than anybody else I know. He's working the full day, at his job to come on in and then work, another full day at the facility and to help manage kind of the operations. And now as of, here the last couple of weeks, we finally been able to also now start the onboarding for people getting their new facilities set up as well. So we got our hands full.
That's exciting. So I hear you say how much you admire this work ethic that Julian has. Is that fair?
Oh, without a doubt.
That's great. Okay, what have you learned about yourself, Julian?
I learned that I could probably like push myself like a little bit more, like all the time. I always push myself till like I'm like, I don't think I could do it, and I go past it. And it's just fun. It's just fun, like just going past what you think you could do. And I have fun doing that. It sucks, but at the same time, it's growth. I think that's important.
But it's growth. That's also a good quote.
Yeah.
And what have you learned about Ryan?
He's a dog. Like he works hard. He says I work hard. This guy right here, man, he works hard, and that's why I work hard too. Is because I know he's going to, and I think that's what motivates everyone that's in our building, all of our other partners, is the fact that he goes so hard too, and I think it's just a friendly competition at the end of the day. Is that like, oh, you're gonna get up at 7, I'm getting up at 6:30. Are you gonna do it? All right, like it's kind of like that, and I love his he very competitive. His competitive nature that he has is like very underlined, but he has it and it pushes everybody, and I love that.
I love that. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Knowing what makes the other people tick so that you can bottle that, and whatever becomes the secret sauce of your company, it is uniquely yours, and it seems like it's founded on a deep admiration and respect for each other, which I appreciate. Okay, switching gears back to the regional piece for a second. Is there a rumor that you guys recently pitched at McCloskey?
So we were actually at McCloskey, I want to say in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we went through the process when we were first getting started, prior to, where we're at with our current resale lab. And yeah, it was a great process. we were able to make it to the semifinals, which was...
I'm going to pause you really quickly for our listeners who may not know. McCloskey is a well-known pitch competition sponsored by Notre Dame. And so it's an opportunity for entrepreneurs, both connected with the university or in the community, to pitch their business. Is that an accurate? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I cut you off. Keep going.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Went through the first one.
Yeah, so we made it to the semifinals. It was just a wonderful experience. We were able to get connected with a lot of people in the community. It's actually led to some mentorships as well. The number one thing I would recommend is, if you're doing these types of, competitions, just reach out to the judges or to anyone in the business community. That's how we were able to get, some great mentorship by, some of the leaders in the e-commerce field.
Awesome. Would you add anything to that?
It was an experience. It pushed us at a time where I felt like if we didn't do the McCloskey, like to us, it wasn't like everything, but it really made us push our envelope and really get our stuff together and really look presentable because, we're going to the McCloskey competition at Notre Dame. So we have to look professional. And at that time we were a little sloppy, but we got it together. And that's what kind of formed our base of our company as we grew.
That's a really interesting point, and I would imagine very helpful to our listeners. So just to say back to you what I heard you say, it's having something out there, like you can be scrappy, you can be hardworking, you can be all of those things, but to get to the next level, sometimes you need that pressure point that says, okay, we have to button up the things that we said we were going to button up. And so putting that external pressure was a useful moment for you guys?
It propelled us, I would say, like an extra 6 months, like in advancement, because it really made us push the envelope on everything, like from the software to the products to everything.
That's a really powerful statement. I mean, six months. So for people who want to run hard, what are those external pressure points you can apply? And when you have to show people what's actually happening, that makes a difference.
Yep.
Okay. Have you done any other pitch competitions since then?
Yeah, so we have also had the ability to participate in some IU-based pitch competitions. Mm-hmm. So we actually won the Crossroads 2023 competition. So that was, led by, our other co-founder, Rod, as well as Dimitri. So, they were able to pitch down there. So for everyone's knowledge, our other co-founder, Rod, he actually just completed his MBA down at IU.
Okay.
So they were kind of wrapping that up, as they did their final year there.
That's great. Congratulations. That's really exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So on the journey thus far, what has been the hardest lesson you've had to learn?
I can go on this.
Hardest lesson? Probably be more considerate of other people that kind of want to see you outside the business. Sometimes the business really engulfs you and you love it. It's not your fault. You just love the business and you love being there every day. And you just have this burning passion just to keep pushing it. But sometimes your parents want to see you. Sometimes your friends want to see you. And sometimes you feel like I need to stay focused. But sometimes you do need to sit back and unwind and give those people that want to see you that time.
That's super, super, super. I understand what that can look like.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what Julian said, which is, delegation, right? You only have so much time in the week. You have to learn to be able to trust your team, make sure you have a wonderful team with you that you can trust, because exactly, there's important things going on and, you need to make sure you make time for all that.
I think you said early on, time management is a hard thing. And it's the one thing that we all have in common, right? We all only have 24 hours in a day. And how are we going to use those? And what does that look like?
And you don't get less busy either.
You don't get, right? You don't get less busy. I'm just going to keep poking on this for a second, because this is one of the areas that I find to be most fascinating as people grow as leaders and founders and thinking about, the gifts that got you to a certain place might be not what you need to get to the next chapter of your business and what that looks like. Do you have those conversations? Do you think about that a lot? Or as you're just going through the process of figuring out what good time management for you looks like, have you thought about, people talk about zone of genius, zone of excellence, zone of incompetence, anything in that regard, or Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram? Do you ever think about any of these things in terms of learning yourselves to be the best version?
Yeah, so it's really, that process of identifying those. And then at least, in my opinion, at least, is trying to find the right people on your team that fill those gaps.
The puzzle
in it,
pieces,
right?
how they fit
Exactly.
together. Yep.
Because, if you want to go far, have everyone go with you.
Yes.
Yep. And yeah, no, the key players that are able to fill those spots and those pockets, because the Ryan said like the other day, I'm happy to be working on the business, not in the business. And that's the biggest part that we've accomplished pretty much like this year, like to like where we're like, man, this is great. And it's just like we could leave. Like right now, it's still operating. And that's amazing. We love that.
That's huge. That's really huge. I think so many people work their whole careers or their whole businesses and find themselves getting back in, and you can never get too far from it, right?
Yeah.
That's really important. But to be able to say that 80-90%, or you're saying 100% is on the business now, that you're here today having this conversation, getting the word out there about your business, that can, I mean, I'm raising a glass. That's huge, because not everybody can make it to that. Okay, so another question for you. What are interesting books that you have read or interesting thought leaders who have inspired some part of how you guys show up in your business each day?
Yeah, I'll go first then. So in that case, I've read a couple books that have been really interesting. So I think I like a lot of the stuff, like just even like a biography or something, like, the Steve Jobs biography, even though it's kind of cliche, right? It's just a really interesting story too. You especially see, kind of, how that, worked for Steve Jobs for better or worse. But also too, the fact, what they were able to do and, having a team that was, as dedicated as they had. I really enjoyed like the, anything like Richard Branson-esque, just because it seems like he lives a pretty cool life. So, I always enjoy kind of learning about, stories like that.
So you'll invite us all to your island eventually?
I got to get one first, right?
That's perfect. No, one more quick thing on that. So both Branson and Jobs, in my mind, they stand out as entrepreneurs who are deeply convicted individuals. Like they have a very strong conviction for what it is that they're doing. Is that something that you see about yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I think Julian was saying it a couple of weeks ago, right? You were like, like this gives us purpose.
Yeah.
That's great. What about for you, Julian? Any
I'm
entrepreneurs?
A lot. Patrick Bet-David. There's so many out there. I'm just really inspired by life and how this just feels like a dream sometimes, and that just makes me want to just keep going. I can see like everybody's themselves, and when I see those billionaire people, I'm not so inspired. I'm more intrigued because like how they did it and everything, but I'm more inspired by my own life and trying to get myself to that type of position. Because I know every single billionaire has their own different path, unless they were born with it. But the ones that achieve it, or like just the successful people that achieve it, have their own path. And that's what I kind of want to focus on, is like my own path.
I love that. And it probably goes back to what you said a little bit ago, which is how you can push yourself, and then the satisfaction in seeing how much further you can push yourself. I see a parallel in that. That's interesting. So then a couple more questions for you. One, what should I be asking you to learn something really unique? And maybe you can give me an example, a question I should ask Julian, and you could give me one I should ask Ryan, but like, tell me, I want to know more about you. What's a good question I should ask you that you could answer? And this isn't Jeopardy. You don't have to form it in the phrase of a question. So if you just...
I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, I'm getting nervous.
No. We welcome the sound effects.
Yeah, I gotta think. I'm drawing a blank. You put us on.
Yeah, that's a good.
No pressure. But then let me ask it a different way. Then, well, this is an easier question, which is, what are some things? I know you both are working hard and trying to make time for friends and family. But is there anything else? Any other passion outside of this? Anything about things that you are contributing to the community that continue to make our region a great place to?
He's always doing neighborhood helping. He's always in the neighborhood communities, doing neighborhood meetings, helping with the South Bend community. He does so much stuff for the community that I think is not shined upon.
I love that. Can you talk a little more about that?
Yeah, just some previous work I had done, with the city of South Bend. I did a lot of like neighborhood engagement. I went to like community meetings, neighborhood cleanups, things of that nature. And it was, really rewarding to, be able to meet the people here in the city. And, as Julian was saying, we were later, doing all sorts of sales and, local promotion. And it's a really good feeling to, be able to know that, all our products are finding a really great home. Even more so that, they would be, in theory, thrown away in the landfill, or, all these perfectly good products that are just being wasted.
That's very cool. What was the motivation behind that, though? Like, where did that start? First community meeting. Why'd you go? How did you?
Yeah, it just seemed like a really, really cool thing to do. I was in college. I was just looking for ways to get involved in the community. And that's actually how I found out about AmeriCorps, which is a phenomenal program. I highly recommend it to anybody. You get to meet some really awesome people and make some really, really worthwhile connections.
10 more seconds. Can you explain to people what AmeriCorps is? Because I think it is an underutilized, under the radar program.
It definitely, most people aren't aware, but it is like a domestic Peace Corps, basically. And I actually had the privilege of being able to do it here in South Bend. So, like my hometown, my local area. A lot of the times, you may be sent to other parts of the country, but, I saw this opportunity here in town and I knew I had to take it.
Super cool. Super cool. Anything else outside of your 3 full-time jobs that we should know about?
I like comedy, the comedy and fishing and golf.
Fishing and golf. Very good.
Yeah.
Where do you like to do your fishing?
Anywhere really. Like I'll go to the river, Mishawaka River Park, just anywhere.
That's wonderful.
Really?
That's wonderful. Well, anything else that we could do to support rScan and to help continue to grow your business here and grow other entrepreneurs' businesses as a function of that? Is there anything else that you would put out to the community who's listening to this?
Yeah, there is actually one thing. So, we are looking to, meet with anyone who is interested in any type of e-commerce. We're actually looking to, do some new features with rScan, and we're really trying to just, delve into like some customer insights to see how we can better serve, potential new customers, right?
Okay, so customer discovery, looking for customer insights, people interested in e-commerce. So what are ways that the community can help rScan continue to grow? What message would you give to our listeners?
What message would I give if you're an entrepreneur that's ready to sell online, make a difference, get some product that might end up in the landfill, burned, or just, in the ocean? Hit up rScan on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for being here today on this episode of Rooted and Reaching. It is truly a pleasure to learn about the different businesses that we have, and I love the ecosystem role that you play in all of this, and I'm excited to continue to watch your progress. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Bye-bye.